I promise you will not regret clicking on this video. Because what I'm about to say, no one ever told you when you started this journey. There's a moment in every trader's life when it feels like the dream is mocking you. You're almost there. You can feel it, that thin, invisible line between struggle and success. Yet somehow it keeps slipping away. You've given it everything. Your sleep, your sanity, your social life. You've watched people around you move on, build families, start businesses, while you're here, staring at charts that no longer make sense, wondering, was it all worth it? You tell yourself, just one more breakthrough. But your pockets are empty. The bills are real. The isolation is louder than ever. And the silence after another losing day, starts to feel like a verdict. But listen, if you're at that point where you've lost everything except the will to keep trying, this video is for you. Because what you're feeling right now isn't failure. It's the breaking point before success. And if you can survive this phase, I assure you, everything you've suffered for will start to make sense. There's a stage in every trader's journey where everything collapses at once. Your system stops working. Your mind stops trusting. And the world, the same world that once clapped for your courage, suddenly looks at you like a fool chasing numbers on a screen. The phone stops ringing. The friends who said, "You've got this," disappear. Debt becomes your new companion, whispering in your ear when you try to sleep. And when morning comes, the only thing heavier than your losses is your chest. You start calculating not profits, but survival. How many more days you can afford data. How many nights you can stretch a single meal. How many excuses you can make before people realize you're barely holding on. And yet, you keep trading. Not because you're confident, but because it's the only thing left that still connects you to who you used to be. Trading stops being about money, it becomes about identity. Every loss feels personal now. Every small win gives you 10 seconds of relief before the anxiety returns. You stare at the charts not for opportunity but for meaning. The candles flicker like tiny hopes, and you pray one of them finally leads you out of this mess. But here's the cruel irony. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the harder it becomes to believe it's real. The market doesn't just test your strategy, it tests your soul. And in that silence between giving up and holding on, you start to wonder, maybe this isn't about trading anymore. Maybe this is about whether you can still believe in yourself. When there's nothing left to believe in, depression doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like silence. You stop celebrating wins, not because you don't care, but because you don't believe they'll last. You wake up exhausted, even after sleeping. You eat not because you're hungry, but because you need the strength to keep pretending you're fine. That's the invisible trap. When your mind starts whispering lies that sound like wisdom. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe the dream was never meant for me. You start making peace with failure, calling it acceptance. You tell yourself you're being rational when in truth you're just tired of fighting. Depression doesn't crash into your life. It seeps in. One disappointment at a time. One unpaid bill. One message you didn't reply to. Until one day you realize you're no longer chasing success. You're just trying not to drown. Your brain enters survival mode. Every thought becomes a calculation. Food, data, rent, hope. Dopamine dries up. Motivation feels like a luxury you can't afford. And worst of all, your sense of self begins to fade. You stop recognizing the person in the mirror. The dreamer who once believed the world could change. Replaced by someone who just wants to feel something again. And this is the most dangerous part of the journey. Because right here, most people quit. Not loudly, not with an announcement, but quietly by losing the will to keep believing. They walk away thinking they're escaping pain, not knowing they were minutes away from finding purpose. What if I told you, you're not breaking down, you're breaking open. The market didn't come to destroy you. It came to expose everything inside you that can't survive success. The impatience, the ego, the fear of loss, the need to prove something. Every failure wasn't punishment, it was purification. You thought you were trading charts, but the truth is the charts were trading you. testing your emotions, your faith, your discipline, your identity. Every sleepless night, every losing streak, every moment you felt invisible. It was life stripping away who you were so you could become who you're meant to be. And that's the secret most people never learn. The real reward of this journey isn't money. It's a transformation. The moment you stop fighting the pain and start listening to it, you realize it's teaching you something priceless. How to stay calm in chaos. Because if you can stay composed when everything around you is falling apart, then nothing, not the market, not fear, not loss, can ever break you again. You're not losing yourself, you're evolving. You're learning how to breathe underwater. And that's what this stage is really about. Not escaping the darkness, but learning how to see in it. You don't think your way out of the dark. You move your way out. When the mind is heavy, words don't help. Action does. Small, unglamorous, daily action. Start by winning the morning. Make your bed. Drink water. Step outside and feel the sun. Don't scroll, don't trade yet, just prove to yourself you still have control over something. Next, rebuild your dopamine. You've been chasing big wins for too long. Your brain's reward system is burnt out. Find smaller wins. A walk, a journal entry, a simple workout. Train your mind to celebrate consistency again, not just profit. Then, separate your identity from your results. You are not your balance. You are not your last trade. Every time you lose, the market isn't saying, "You're bad." It's saying, "You're being refined." Learn to pause, not to quit, just to breathe. Reset your system before you reset your chart. Micro-consistency is your weapon now. You don't need massive breakthroughs. You need small, repeatable proof that you're still moving forward, even 1 inch at a time. And if you've isolated yourself, reconnect. Find one person who understands the grind. You don't need a crowd. You just need a witness. Someone who reminds you that this pain isn't the end of your story. Depression grows in silence. But the moment you speak, even in a whisper, it starts to lose its grip. And remember this, discipline is not about control. It's about compassion. The kind that says, "I know you're tired, but we keep going anyway." Because survival isn't glamorous. It's quiet. It's slow. It's you choosing to rise one more time, long after motivation has left. There comes a moment when the noise fades, and you realize you're still here, not because it got easier, not because you suddenly found the magic strategy, but because you stopped running from the pain and learned to walk with it. You've changed more than you think. The losses that once broke you now teach you. The drawdowns that once scared you now test your calm. The silence that once felt like punishment now feels like focus. You're not who you were when you started. That version of you, the one chasing shortcuts, validation, and speed, had to die for this one to be born. This is your resurrection. The moment your strength becomes quiet, your vision becomes clear, your hunger becomes disciplined. You stop needing the world to understand your journey. You stop explaining your silence. Because deep down, you now know, what broke you was never meant to end you. It was meant to build a trader who could lose everything and still not lose himself. That's the man the market was waiting for. The one who doesn't trade for escape anymore, but trades because he's finally found peace within the chaos. You've passed the test. Not the technical one, the human one. And from here on, every win will feel different, because you earned it with pain, patience, and a kind of faith that doesn't shout. It endures. If you're still here, it means you didn't quit. You took every hit life threw at you, and somehow you're still standing. That's not luck. That's not a coincidence. That's the mark of someone who was chosen for the long road. The truth is, this journey was never meant to be fair. It was meant to forge you. The pain wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Every loss, every lonely night, every silent breakdown, it was teaching you how to build without applause. And now you know something most people never will. That strength isn't about winning. It's about enduring when everything in you says stop. So no, you don't need to escape the darkness. You just need to outlast it. Because the market doesn't reward the smartest, or the fastest, or even the most disciplined. It rewards the ones who refuse to die when it was easiest to quit. And when the light finally breaks through, the world will call it a miracle. But you'll know the truth. It was never a miracle. It was you. Always you.